Hi guys, happy weekend. I'm going to be making some Greek meatballs and I thought I would share the recipe. I also made some homemade hummus. I really love hummus. It's super easy to make at home and it's very affordable. So let's get to it. Start with 1 pound ground beef. Put it in a bowl. This is for the meatballs that I'm going to be making, and I went ahead and added some chopped up spinach that you can see my camera was a little close, but I'm still kind of learning how to use that. I did some feta. I also did some lemon zest and half of a lemon with juice, and I went ahead and chopped up about a quarter of a half onion that I had in my fridge, some oregano, as well as some parsley. I just had a little bit left in that jar. I used some garlic powder for seasoning, and then what I did was I went ahead and started by chopping up some spinach. Don't judge my knife skills. I sometimes feel like I get it together and sometimes I feel like I don't have it quite together. But I chopped these in, it's baby spinach. It was already washed. I just chopped it in kind of fine pieces so that it would be into the meatballs. Just kind of nice to have that in your meatballs with some extra nutrients for you. And then I'm going to start chopping up some of an onion here. Again, I had a half onion in my fridge, and I just took half of the half and cut it into little pieces, dicing them just so they can go in meatball size. You can kind of use any onion you want. You can leave onion out if you don't like onion. I really like the flavor that onion adds to meatballs. It's just kind of a nice savory flavor. I just like onions. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I think they're good, especially baked into things. A lot of times you can't really tell it's onions depending on how fine you chop it. I just went with bigger because it was just me eating these meatballs. Mike's not really a fan of Greek. I put some feta in there. I broke it up. It was in larger pieces just so it would be distributed better in the meatballs. I really think a little zesty cheese in there is good. I wish I would have added more, but I just used up the rest of a container that I had. I would say if you're feeling feta-y, add some more. Just a couple shakes of garlic powder, about a teaspoon of parsley, dried parsley. You can use fresh parsley if you have it. Oregano. I also decided in the last minutes that I wanted to add a few more things to this just to make it a little savoury. Some dill weed in there. And I also went ahead and did the zest of the lemon, and then I did half of the juice in there. When you do the lemon zest, it just adds the oil from the skin, which is really nice as well. So I went ahead and did that, and then I cut it in half and used a little lemon juicer to get as much juice out of the lemon as possible. If you don't have a lemon juicer, really a good investment. We have had ours for years and years and years. I see a lot of people using them now, but we got them. My husband used to work in restaurants, and they had extras at the bar that he worked at, and they gave it to him probably 6 or 7 years ago. But we love it. We use it almost every day, as well as a grater for lemon zest. Those are good investments, and also knives. I cracked an egg in here just to bind the mixture so that it didn't come apart. You could probably leave it out if you wanted to, if you chop the onions fine enough. And then what I did was I just added some salt and pepper. Always got to have your salt and pepper. You could even probably put a little bit of olive oil in here if you're using a lean cut of beef. My beef had a little bit of fat, so I didn't feel like I really needed to do that. And then I went ahead and got out a latex glove. A lot of times when I'm mixing something like this, I don't like it to get under my fingernails. So I put a glove on and just mix it to combine. You know, consistency, you don't want to over mix it, but you do want to make sure you have everything combined in there, so that you're not getting, or that you're getting every flavor in every meatball, and that some meatballs are lacking flavor. You don't want that to happen, but you also don't want to over mix the meat, because then it will become dry and it won't be savory and tasty, basically. So then you just roll them into balls. I did that, and then I set them aside, and I went ahead and made a sauce for my meatballs. I used a container of Greek yogurt, plain. Just put that in a bowl, and then I'm just going to add some additional things to it that I just felt like I liked. You can just use anything you want. It's just a dressing. I used the rest of that lemon that I had. I don't like to waste things like that. If I can use all of it, I want to use all of it then. It just tastes fresher if possible. So I used it in the meatballs and I used it in the dressing. And then I happened to have some Greek seasoning from Penzeys, so I went ahead and used that. This is a really good seasoning if you ever find it. Kind of has a lot of the flavors that you want, so I went ahead and put some of that in there. I also put some garlic powder, and then I also used the rest of that parsley I had, just to use that jar up, give it a little pop of color as well. Salt and pepper, and I went ahead and mixed this together, and I felt like it was lacking in flavor. It just wasn't quite there. One of the best things I can share with you about cooking is try to taste things as you're cooking them if you can, because that will just make sure that your food is good at the end. This needed a little sweetness. The yogurt just needed something to bring it up. So I added a little bit of honey. And as you'll see, I added a dash of red wine vinegar as well, just to give it a little bit of more acid, and a different level of flavor. You can really play around with dressings a lot and just make it to your liking. A lot of things would have been good in here. Fresh herbs definitely would have been good. I just didn't have any fresh herbs on hand, so I kind of went with what I had. If you didn't have yogurt, you could use sour cream. I thought it was delicious. So I went ahead and put these in the oven. I put them in at 350, and Simba helps supervise, of course, in the kitchen. He's always got to be under me. So here's the hummus. I had soaked some chickpeas overnight and then boiled them with a little bit of baking soda. Put them in the food processor with 3 cloves of garlic. I went ahead and zested this lemon in there, and I also used half of this lemon juice. I always put cumin in my hummus. I like the flavor of it. And then I also always put smoked paprika in my hummus as well. I like this flavor combination the best. Salt, of course, you gotta have salt in there. And then I went ahead and blitzed it up just to get it creamy. And then I went ahead and drizzled in some olive oil. And then I remembered after I took the lid off that I forgot to put my tahini in. I did actually have some tahini on hand, so I went ahead and added the tahini as well. So I put that in, and here's the finished product that we have for the hummus. Then what I did was I went ahead and made myself a little platter. I had a platter of hummus, meatballs, little salad. I had some grape leaves that I got from Thrive Market, or dolmas as they're called. Delicious. Definitely try this meal. It's easy and fast and really tasty. Hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.